Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including even more price increases, lots of updates to paint colors, the Semi launching this year, Tesla entering the electric utility business, and Tesla getting praised by Ford, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla is beginning to officially give users the ability to store their driver profiles in the cloud. This is something that has been teased for some time, and something that would make a lot of sense when people own multiple Teslas, rent them, or share them often. In the driver profile menu, Tesla is now adding an option that says, quote, enable vehicle sync. It doesn't appear to be launched yet, but should be arriving soon in software. Quote, if you own multiple Teslas, use a loaner, or rent a Tesla, you will be able to keep your profile settings the same across your vehicles. When you change a setting, it'll automatically be carried over to your other vehicles. This is a feature that Elon Musk has actually talked about for years. In 2017, he said, quote, we are going to move all info and settings to the cloud, aka server, so any Tesla you drive in the world automatically adjusts to you. Then after the deal with Hertz for 100,000 Teslas was announced, when asked if cloud profiles could be a part of that deal, Elon responded saying, quote, that feature is coming. Now we're seeing the first images of the option in settings, although it's still unclear how a user will actually log in. Likely there will be an added menu for the car that lets you log in with your Tesla account just like you do for the app. That will give you vehicle access and sync your cloud profile. This will mean that if you have a Model 3 at home and you rent one elsewhere, you will get in and every setting will feel right at home. The only things you may need to manually adjust will probably be your rear view mirror. This definitely makes it more convenient for the future and will make driving a Tesla a seamless process for owners who may switch between cars often or rent on the go. Next up today, in what seems like a weekly occurrence at this point, Tesla has once again raised prices on their most popular vehicles, the Model 3 and Model Y. The standard rear-wheel drive Model 3 now starts at $44,990, long range at $50,990, and performance at $58,990. All three of those prices for the Model 3 are up $1,000 from a week ago, and is noted by Electrek that standard range plus model, which they recently renamed to Model 3 rear-wheel drive, is up 21% this year. When I bought my Model 3 earlier this year, the price was $37,990 before taxes and fees, so that's a huge change in the last few months. For the Model Y, that car is now separating quite a bit from the long-range Model 3, coming in about $7,000 more expensive. The long-range Model Y now starts at $57,990, with the performance model at $62,990. That's also a $1,000 price increase for each of those models. What's crazy is if I look back at my one-year review of the Model Y that I made about 8 months ago, towards the end of the review, I went into details about pricing, and at that time, the starting price of the Model Y was $48,990. That's $9,000 more now, and soon enough, the car may be up about $10,000 in the last 8 months, and that might have to do a lot with the impending tax credit of $10,000 for Teslas. Tesla is now sold out of the Model Y through the entirety of 2021 with raised prices, so they are having no trouble selling their cars regardless of their increasing prices. Ultimately, though, we hope that these will go down in time when Tesla reaches better production output and supply shortages ease, because they are getting further and further out of reach for customers each day with these increases. As I've said this entire year, though, if you're looking to buy soon, putting your order in now is a great idea. You lock in that price, and if they lower the price before you take delivery, they'll give you that lower price. Additionally, with the massive delays that we're seeing, it seems likely that the tax credit will pass before you take delivery of your car as well. Next up today, Tesla has updated their paint colors online, and new paint colors have been spotted at their factories as well. When you configure a Tesla online, white is the base color, and this is often why you see a majority of white Teslas out in the wild. All other colors, black, midnight silver metallic, blue, and red, have costed extra from $1,000 to $2,000. For a while, it has been only that way, and people have been wanting Tesla to change it up for many different reasons. Now, Tesla has officially made that change at the same time as the price increases I just mentioned. When you configure a Tesla online, white or midnight silver metallic are now both base color options for no additional charge. Blue is $1,000 extra, black is now $1,500 extra, and red is $2,000 extra from there. So if you were planning to order a midnight silver metallic Model 3 last week, you actually will see no price increase since the paint is no longer $1,000 extra, but the base price went up by $1,000. This change has been implemented only on the Model 3 and Model Y, which are Tesla's most popular vehicles by a long shot. It's definitely a welcome change, giving customers two base color options instead of having to pay for anything but the basic white, and it will give at least least a little variety to the colors of Teslas we see on the road. Still though, Tesla is only shipping these 5 basic colors, and they have only shipped these 5 for their 4 cars for the past few years. Some more options are desired by many, and a few new colors were teased at Giga Berlin. In a recent video, I talked about 3 colors that showed up in Tesla app code. These 3 colors included deep crimson multicoat, abyss blue multicoat, and mercury silver metallic. Some renders were posted online of what these colors could look like, and they should be coming from Giga Berlin on the Model Y fairly soon. Elon Musk has hyped up their advanced paint shop in Berlin for a while now, so something different is expected. However, at the same time, Tesla's second main factory, Giga Shanghai, which now produces more cars than their original Fremont factory, appears to be making a large number of cars in new colors. These photos were taken with a drone over Tesla's Gigafactory Shanghai, and they clearly show new colors being produced on Tesla's vehicles. This is a lot where Tesla puts produced vehicles, and we can see multiple new colors amongst their typical colors in these photos. We can see a turquoise Model 3, a light pink, a lighter blue than typical, and there are multiple of each of these new paint colors on different cars amongst thousands of normal colored cars. Last year, Tesla launched their own car wrapping service in 5 cities in China, but this system works through delivery centers and not at their main factory. So many suspect that this simply could be the same system with these cars being wrapped, but it seems to be unrelated. Obviously, with these drone shots, there's no way to tell if these cars are wrapped or painted these new colors, but they are new from a Tesla factory regardless. What I find interesting is that most of these colors seem to be extremely bold. They don't quite seem like options that Tesla would just bring out new, but there are a number of variations of each. The circles in this photo actually miss quite a few. There's a few different darker blue cars, which could be the same abyss blue teased in code, as well as a darker green one that it seems people haven't spotted yet. Up at the top section, there's almost a camo type of green, and then there's lots of variations throughout of all of these different colors. Some of them seem to be consistent, and there's multiple of them, but some appear to be slightly different shades of each. While this could be Tesla simply in the testing phases for new colors with slight variations, the fact that they end up in this particular parking lot suddenly does seem odd. I personally think that they might be implementing new wrap options for customers as an add-on, and these are the first ones they have produced, since there seem to be over 5 different variations, but we'll have to see what comes out. Regardless, we're seeing new paint options getting closer and closer each day directly from Tesla, whether they be wild and bold wraps out of Giga Shanghai or 3 new color options out of Giga Berlin. I'm excited for new options to come and would love for another color like blue or black to be a base option, and for them to add more color options over time for the extra cost. Of course, you can get your car painted or wrapped by a third party after delivery, but receiving the car with the color you want will usually be the best and easiest experience. Next up today, some updates about the Tesla Semi, which should be seeing first deliveries at the end of this year. The Semi was announced all the way back in 2017 along with the Roadster, and neither of those have been seen. There have been various delays, but one of the biggest reasons it isn't here yet is due to battery supply. Tesla needs batteries for their passenger cars, and the Semi, while exciting and priced high, takes a huge number of battery cells to create. For the time being, those cells need to be in Tesla's best-selling products, their cars. However, long-term, Tesla is rapidly expanding battery capacity to have enough for their cars, Semi, and Roadster, as well as stationary storage. The most recent update about the Tesla Semi comes from Pepsi's CEO. Pepsi has a number of Tesla Semis on order. In a recent CNBC interview, he said, quote, "We are already starting to buy electric trucks from Tesla. We don't want to promote anybody, but that's the brand we are using so far, and we are getting our first deliveries this Q4. After Tesla announced the Semi in 2017, PepsiCo placed an order of 100 to add to their fleet, and they plan to use 15 of those trucks for a project to turn their Frito-Lay facility to zero emissions in Modesto, California. Now, this story was actually reported earlier this year, with Pepsi saying that they expected to take delivery of 15 trucks by the end of 2021, but it has now been reiterated with Pepsi likely in contact with Tesla on this particular contract, saying that they still expect delivery by the end of this year. Tesla is building the Semi at a factory near their Gigafactory Nevada, where they make batteries, and it was reported that they were in the final stages of pre-production back in July of this year. So this timeline does line up in multiple ways, and Tesla has been talking about finally bringing the Semi to production for some time now. This new update comes from Pepsi and seems fairly reliable, but it could very well be something that they misunderstand. Tesla is known for delays as is, and lately their cars have been in more demand than ever, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Semi does end up getting delayed further. However, they're working with Pepsi on those first 15, and Pepsi Pepsi is planning their own charging infrastructure, so it really could be a great way for Tesla to do some real-world testing on a large scale before hitting true volume production of the Semi in the next couple of years. For vehicles, Tesla has grown their supercharger network and plans to continue growing it so that all customers can charge easily and quickly wherever they plan to drive. They plan to implement a similar system with the Tesla Semi, but those will require what they call Megachargers. Tesla spoke about these chargers at their unveil event for the Semi, but they haven't shown them yet. However, now that the Semi appears to be getting close to first production, we're seeing the install of the first Megachargers at Tesla's Gigafactory, Nevada. These photos were posted by Sawyer Merritt on Twitter and show what appears to be the first Megacharger stall installed there. This looks a lot like Tesla's urban chargers, but the way that they are installed, as well as the overall size when compared to the vehicle parked next to it, shows that it is larger and likely for a larger vehicle to be parked, like the Semi. This charger should enable Tesla to truly begin using the Tesla Semi for their own battery transport between factories, and we should see a lot more development for Megachargers in the near future. Next up today, it's becoming more obvious by the day that Tesla is doing things in a different way, and the industry is beginning to fall behind. Car manufacturers are starting to realize, some too late, that people like Teslas, and while these big brands still make more cars than Tesla, this could quickly shift if they don't make a compelling electric option. Ford has shipped the Mach-E, which overall has gotten some great reviews, and plans for more electric options in the future. But now a new internal meeting has shown how much Ford is aware of Tesla's dominance. Ford's CEO, Jim Farley, said, quote, "If Ford was a trillion-dollar company, our stock would be worth about $250 a share. Think about the value creation of Tesla right now. And they have resources, smart people. The Model 3 is now the best-selling vehicle in Europe. Not electric, flat out. It was the best-selling vehicle in the UK. Most months, it's the best-selling vehicle in California. Not just electric, but overall. If we're going to succeed, we can't ignore this competition anymore." It doesn't appear that Ford fully has ignored Tesla, but now they're getting more serious about competing. Another aspect where Ford might try to compete is in Tesla's direct sales model, where they control the pricing and deliveries top to bottom. To this, Farley said, quote, "Look at Tesla. Why are they doing what they're doing, and what can we learn from them? First, they have a direct model. There's no one in between. They make it so easy, 3 or 4 clicks configuring the vehicle with not a lot of complexity to delivering it to the customer. Simple, non-negotiated pricing. A large reservation system as well as remote service." The dealership model is well established for companies like Ford, but people like the simplicity of ordering a Tesla online. Even if their prices are raising as we talked about earlier, at least you lock in the price instead of having to negotiate at a third-party dealer. Regarding Tesla's electric powertrain and their overall development, Farley didn't hold back on how good Tesla's product is. He said, quote, "Tesla maximizes use of electrons in the vehicle. No one does it better than they do. Their customers pay less for a better battery. Their focus after they launch the vehicle, their obsession after the launch of the vehicle to make the customer experience better, to re-engineer the electronic components, to simplify, to address quality based on data coming off the vehicles, to reduce the bill of material based on how people actually use the vehicle, to drive vertical integration, so they do more and they solve the hardest problems at Tesla. And they manage every electron so they can be as efficient as possible with the expense of battery." The points he's making here are things that people tend to ignore because of Tesla's quality control, among other things. However, it's very clear that even while those things still do occur, Tesla is constantly improving all aspects of their cars, updating them constantly, pushing software updates and new features, and improving range constantly to make their products as good as possible. It'll be very interesting to see what the future holds for the industry as a whole, but it's interesting to see a major company like Ford truly taking note of Tesla and why they are so popular. If anything, focusing more in this area is just good news for the future of EVs as a whole. Next up today, Tesla has officially entered the energy market, starting with Texas. Tesla Energy Ventures got approval last week to, quote, "provide retail electric services throughout the area served by ERCOT. This includes most of Texas. Tesla has experience in the power front with their virtual power plant that they've put into place in South Australia and California, and the goal is to, quote, "help create the largest distributed battery system in the world and avoid dependence on the least efficient fossil fuel power plants." Long-term, Tesla and Elon Musk are expecting their energy business to outpace the growth and size of their vehicle business. On Tesla's earnings call in Q2 of 2020, Elon said, quote, "The energy business is collectively bigger than the automotive business. In order to achieve a sustainable energy future, we have to have sustainable energy generation, which I think is going to be primarily solar and followed by wind, and those are intermittent. The mission of Tesla is to accelerate sustainable energy, so I can't emphasize enough. Yes, the battery and solar will both both be enormous, and they kind of have to be in order for us to have a sustainable future. In the immediate future, it's unclear exactly what this approval means for Tesla, and if they'll be creating the energy, creating a virtual power plant system, or operating as a middleman for energy selling, but it's a big move for their plans in this area. According to Teslarati, due to the company's use of solar energy and energy storage systems, Tesla energy users are more likely to avoid outages and blackouts, especially as the excess energy is stored in a Powerwall for residential or PowerPack and Megapack for commercial uses. So this could ultimately be Tesla's goal, to start building their system while helping to avoid blackouts like what occurred in February of this year in Texas. Last up to date, Tesla is adding new features to their cars again, this time adding Tidal support. In vehicle on a Tesla, you have Spotify, Slacker, and TuneIn as your primary sources integrated on screen. Apple Music continues to be absent, but Tidal is now being added and integrated in version 2021.40. Quote, Tidal streaming is now available from the media menu with a Tidal account. You can listen to Tidal playlists or albums in high-quality audio by connecting to Wi-Fi and pressing download on the selected content. This is the first time I've seen a download option within the Tesla interface on screen, and I'd love to see a similar option come to Spotify, and I definitely want to see what this is like in practice. There are other improvements to cold weather and a chime for traffic-aware cruise control in this update, but for most people, the most exciting update there is the addition of Tidal integration on screen. If you're a user, you'll be able to stream without having to take out your phone as long as you have premium connectivity on your car. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest range updates Tesla brought out for the Model 3 and Y, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.